G'day everybody, I'm the Red Scar, this is Red Scar Gaming. Today is my summary of my 6th draft of March of the Machine. Sorry, to think about that for a second. I was playing a Gruul creature deck, though with the power of hindsight, I think I relied a bit too much on the likes of combat tricks and battles actually. So, look, honestly I didn't do too well. 2 wins, 3 losses, and I think the first 2 losses that I had were actually pretty close games, so it might have just been a little bit of bad luck, but look, that happens anyway. But yeah, as per normal, I'll go through all the cards and talk about them. Coming in hot, I didn't get much use out of, actually. I think I only got 1 play, maybe. So, with the power of hindsight, I should have probably relied a bit more on creatures to have that used effectively. But, yeah, once again, maybe it's just a choice that I could have made slightly better. Arachnoid Adaption, similar sort of story. It is really good in the right circumstances, but yeah, maybe I should have dropped that for even just a not particularly good creature. Oh, excuse me as I hiccup. Placid Rottentail, I actually got more use out of than I thought I would. 1/1 Vigilance is certainly not bad, but there was a few situations actually that I got to use it as but whether it was an attack and put some sort of combat trick on it to get away with it early in the game, or there was, I think it was first game, I got to was it Blighted Burgeoning? Anyway, I forget what it was, but I put some 1/1 counters on it, and it was all of a sudden a 3/3 creature with vigilance, which is pretty good. So I think at least in that case it was well spent. Plus the exile it from the graveyard to make something else bigger is certainly a useful thing to do with 3 mana. So I'd go with it again. In fact, I sort of wish I had 2 or 3 even. But yeah, what to drop is something I'll think about later. Threshing Frontliner is one of those cards that I think I mentioned in the draft that it doesn't win you games just by itself, but it's pretty dang good. Like a 2/2 trample is not bad. I mean, even if that's all, but the fact that when it attacks a battle, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn is at least useful. Yeah, sure, it's not the best card the world's ever seen, but it's not bad. Atrax's Fall, I did get 1 use out of it, and it is sort of just a good card because it can destroy target artifact or enchantment, which is generally a good thing anyway. But the whole battle or creature with flying for 2 mana is pretty dang good. So I think it's useful, and I'm glad I kept one. I might have been able to use a second one, but yeah, just hold my breath there. Invasion of Urgmon, which I swear is a Digimon, but anyway, is always at least a bit useful, I reckon, because even if you never do the whole discard, draw a card bit, which I did, I think, every time, you still get a token, which is, I mean, just banking some mana, and that's certainly something I need in this deck. So on that front, it's good. The Trigger Cliff Charger part is, once again, not the best card the world's ever seen, but it is pretty dang effective. And it's a good card, so I'll definitely draft that card again in a similar situation. Blighted Burgeoning, though, I didn't get good use out of that. I think in that case it was maybe just a bit of bad luck, like I sort of drew it too late in the game or something. But I reckon playing that turn 3, while it won't win you the game, might help a bit, because it does get you that little bit extra ramp and gives you something to spend 2 mana on when you got the spare 2 mana. So it's good, versatile, not amazing, but yeah, it's good. Overgrown Pest, was it once I got to play with it? It's basically ramp, at least in this deck, it's basically just ramp, which, look, is not really complaining. Anyway, yeah, not really a complaint, but good chump blocker at the very least, so I'd probably use it again, though, yeah, I'd probably want it in a better situation, though. Crystal Carapace, similar sort of situation. It's the Cycling 2, actually, that I sort of put to better use, but, yeah, enchant, make vaguely good creature pretty dang good, is, yeah, pretty effective, though I didn't get much chance to use it. Once again, might just be bad luck. Fertilid's Favour. Actually, I think that's the case where I put the 2/1/1 counters on Placid Rottentail, not Flaccid Rottentail. It's a different thing. Anyway, Fertilid's Favor was certainly very good use in that sense, and it gives me the ramp, and it's pretty reliable. And if I've already got a big creature, I can make it even bigger. So yeah, it's good. For a similar sort of deck, I would definitely go with Fertilid's Favor again. Though I think maybe pre games, I might have relied on it a little bit too much. But yeah, look, that's just learn from my mistakes basically. Invasion of Zendikar, similar fashion. I didn't get to play it terribly effectively. I played it once, if I remember correctly. And yeah, look, I've still got 2 lands and all that, but I didn't really need them at the time. But in a similar fashion to Fertilid's Favor, it's good, gets you that ramp, gets you the big creature out quicker, and gets the lands out of your deck. So yeah, it's good on that front. I didn't get to transform it, but I mean that's all right. Doomscar Warrior was game 2 in particular that I got pretty dang good use out of it. My opponent just used it against me. Long story short, watch that video. That was interesting. But yeah, it was a good card, and it is a good way to filter through a deck. So I'm glad I got it. Rampaging Geoderm didn't get quite as much use out of it as I probably wanted. Though, yeah, that's certainly not a complaint. It's still a good creature. 3/3 Trample Haste, I think, is a pretty good way to spend 4 mana. I'm sure you can spend 4 mana on something better, but yeah, it worked particularly well. Was it game 2 or 3 that I got both of them out, and they were 6/6 and 7/7. So that's like pretty much just win by itself. But yeah, they did well, so I was happy with that. Though yeah, once again, maybe relied on them a bit too much. Partly because, as the curve demonstrates, I basically don't have any creatures until turn 4. Anarche Javelineer, I've certainly used more effectively in other decks, and in the power of hindsight, I maybe shouldn't have even bothered having it in this deck. Though probably the reach would have been the most effective part of it, maybe. Though yeah, I just didn't get much use out of it in this particular case. Invasion of Muruganda, I did use pretty effectively once, but the fact that it transforms into that ooze was not actually particularly useful for me, which may have been maybe just bad luck at the time. But it did actually slow me down ever so slightly. And look, I think I still won that game. Did I win that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still won that game. But yeah, just didn't quite get the use out of it that I may be hoping for. I'm still happy with the 1, but yeah, maybe 2 was a bit too much. Furnace of Host Charger, I'm just generally happy with it because you get that mountain. So I would sort of what's the term I'm looking for? Words. I would pretty much say whatever red deck you're using, put 1 in, or at least don't be disappointed if you end up with 1 in, because yeah, look, 6 haste for 5/5 is good. 6 mana for a 5/5 haste. That would have been a better way to phrase it. Is good. Okay, sure, it's not amazing, but it can surprise your opponent late game and get you the win. And mountain cycling is certainly worth it. So yeah, I'd definitely go at least 1 of them every time. Maybe I shouldn't have gone 3, or kept 3 rather, but I did use it pretty effectively, I would say. But maybe that's why I only won 2 games in this particular draft. Copperhost Crusher is just big dumb creature in this particular case, and the fact that it has hexproof, perhaps was particularly useful in this particular draft. But I mean, even if it didn't have hexproof, I'd probably still grab it anyway. And as far as lands, I'm happy with that. Though, as I will note on my draft thing here, most of my creatures are at least 4 mana. So I think I would have preferred to have it like most creatures at 3 or something like that. And I might have been able to get a game or 2 more in, but yeah, look, I think ultimately I didn't draft very well. But as part of the draft dictates, I did almost go white as well, but I ended up dropping it, essentially because I dropped, if memory serves, just off the top of my head, I dropped Invasion of Dominaria, Tiller of Flesh, and both Son of the Gateway in the sort of original take. So I only had Tarkia Duneshaper, Dusk Legion, Duelist in, and I sort of thought, well, it's sort of useless having planes at that point. And look, I might be right, but I might be wrong as well. So, but I'm just thinking though, I would have got a few opportunities to put a 1/1 counter on Dusk Legion Duelist with Power of Hindsight, and I suppose taking out the Invasion of Muruganda adds to that. So, look, I'm sure if I think about it a bit longer, maybe Dusk Legion Duelist and Tarkir Duneshaper would have gone in well. Maybe not the other cards. Look, Sunder the Gateway is useful, but Invasion of Dominaria I certainly haven't had success with in the past, or much success with, I should say. And Scroll Shift I haven't. Oh, look, I'm sure it can be used effectively, but I personally haven't used it. And Tiller of Flesh in this particular deck I don't think would have worked, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Change the Equation is great in the right circumstance, but glad I didn't splash blue just for that, and negate. And Disturbing Conversion, look, just slows your opponent down a little bit, and I don't think would have been particularly helpful. Mirrodin Avenged is pretty good for wide decks, I reckon. So this one was a bit more big. So yeah, I'm pretty happy I didn't go with that. Ica Shade. Actually, I seem to be seeing a fair few copies of Ica Shade recently, mainly against me actually. So it seems to be a bit popular, but maybe that doesn't mean I shouldn't have gone with it anyway. Merciless Repurposing was, I think, the first black card I grabbed out actually, and it's basically just remove target creature and incubator, which I sort of, at the time at least, was thinking the incubate would be my sort of one of my main triggers in there. But I think overall I'm glad I dropped black. I'm sure someone will disagree with me, but that's all right. Invasion of Mercadia. Look, Chiron Flamerite is a good transformation for it, but if you don't benefit anything from the you may discard a card then draw 2 cards bit, it's probably not worth it in at least the situation I was in. Look, I'm sure someone will disagree with me, but yeah, that's fine. Caster's Depth Guard. Maybe I should have gone with that one, because yes, I know it would lower my curve somewhat, and it's only defender, but maybe it could have just been like have a defender, even a sack outlet, to kill a big creature or something, just so I had another turn to play, say, Host Crusher or whatever. So maybe I should have gone with that, though, yeah, what to drop for something like that? Maybe Crystal Carapace, maybe? Yeah, just thinking, though, yeah, Crystal Carapace has cycling, so yeah, maybe, though, because at least Caster's Depth Guard can potentially slow your opponent down for a turn or two. Maybe. Convert a Beast, I think I'm glad that I didn't go with that one, because it's good in the right circumstances, but it's more something that you have to want to put back into hand all the time and benefit from Incubate. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with that one. Jungle Hollow, as you'll see in the draft, yeah, I shouldn't have grabbed that one, but anyway, that was a bad decision at the time. Elvish Vat Keeper, I grabbed when I was thinking I might be going black, and in that particular case, I would have gone more with the incubator mechanic, but yeah, in that particular case I just didn't, so I sort of dropped all black. That's all right. An Invasion of Kylan was another one where I was dropping all the white cards, and yeah, look, it is a really good card in the sense of you press your advantage, but you do have to be a bit careful of it, that if for whatever reason, whether it's too late in the game or too early in the game, you play it and it's not, there's nothing to take advantage of, it's a pretty bad way to spend 4 mana. Though maybe in this case it would have been good Because create two 3/2 red and white warrior creature tokens would have been a good way to get creatures, but what would I have dropped instead? Yeah, and once again, it's not actually a creature, so maybe, look, just maybe, I probably would have gone, or should have gone, with at least a few white creatures, splashed white maybe. If I was to go drop one Invasion of Muruganda, probably one Javelineer, and especially if I'm going white, maybe even two Host Charger. Not because I'm disappointed with it or anything, but I wouldn't have needed Mountain Cycling as much. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. And look, maybe a Arachnoid adaptation, but not because it's bad, but just because I would have used it a bit less. So let's go, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards basically. Maybe Tarkia Dune Shaper, partly just to get creatures out a bit quicker. Dusk Legion Duelist, and one Invasion of Kylem would have been perhaps a better way to go. Though I can see maybe even dropping another Invasion of Muruganda for Invasion of Kylem. Though in that case, I would be leaning perhaps too much on my white cards. And because I didn't have any. Look, I might have had the opportunity to grab some of the white double mana stuff, but lands I mean. But look, without that, white maybe would have been too big a burden. So I think maybe I should have gone white, but look, I'm not sure what I should have done there. But as I said before, though, game 1 and 2 in particular, while I did lose, it wasn't by tons. So it's just that little extra sharpness would have maybe done well. But either way, I had fun, and I hope you had fun watching, and I hope you learned from my mistakes, and I hope I learned from my mistakes too. But thanks for watching. See you next time.